Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by the 10th annual Tesla raffle from GZ Chicago. Head to the link below and use the code TRANSPORTEVOLVED to get $25 off 2 tickets. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And if you've been waiting to get tickets for this year's Everything Electric in Vancouver, Canada next week, stick around until later in the show to find out how you can support the channel and get 20% off your tickets. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. For a long while, Nissan was the electric vehicle leader among mainstream legacy companies, having started mass production of the Nissan LEAF way back in 2010. But these days, Nissan has lost some of its EV edge, with its 2 main EV models, the LEAF and Aria, not selling particularly strongly against the competition. But this week, we got news of an interesting future for the Nissan brand in the EV segment, thanks to an interview between Autocar and Nissan's global VP of Product Planning, Ivan Espinoza. During the interview, he confirmed that Nissan is planning an all-electric version of the iconic Nissan GT-R sports car based on the Hyperforce EV concept that it unveiled last year. On board will be more than 1,000 kilowatts at the wheels and, quite possibly, a brand new solid-state battery pack. We don't have a launch date, but I really hope this happens. If you've watched our official review of the Kia EV9, you'll know that both myself and Kate Walton-Elliott are big fans of Kia's largest eGMP-based EV. And it looks like we're not alone. This week, Munro and Associates released its teardown video of the Kia EV9 battery pack, showing just how much careful planning has gone into making the boxy 3-row electric SUV. In focus in its latest teardown segment, of course, is the battery pack, which the team at Munro and Associates called, quote, a wonderful design. Built with repairability in mind, the EV9's battery pack drops from the vehicle reasonably easy with minimal electrical and cooling connections. The entire bottom of the battery pack case is a single-piece cooling plate, and the modules are designed in an easily repaired way. A star all round. Polestar shocked everyone this week with a surprise change of CEOs following the resignation of its original CEO, Thomas Ingerlath. And it's an interesting new hire. Stepping into the shoes on October 1st is Michael Lohscheller, a long-time industry executive who has worked at Volkswagen, Daimler, Mitsubishi, was CEO at Opel and VinFast before then becoming CEO of Nikola, a position he left last year. While we don't know the full reasons for Ingerlath's departure, it's worth noting that Polestar's Q2 figures, released the very next day, showed an improvement on the first quarter of the year, but a year-on-year drop in sales and revenue, as well as massive increases in losses. While Polestar's financials are not looking good and sales hammered due to Hertz's change in direction on EVs, we think the new CEO's primary goal is pretty clear: to turn Polestar around and make a profit. In the last few years, LFP battery packs have been seen as the logical successor to NCM battery cell chemistries due to their longer lifespan, lower cost, and cobalt and nickel-free construction. But now a new study published in the Journal of the Electrochemical Society suggests that while LFP cells have advantages over NCM cells, engaging in charging, especially fast charging, when the battery pack is already at a high state of charge, can cause long-term damage to LFP packs. The paper's authors, which include renowned Tesla battery researcher Jeff Dahn, suggest that putting an EV on charge, especially at high currents or high temperatures, or when the battery pack is above 75% full, can cause physical changes to the anode structure within the cell, which shortens its lifespan and reduces its usable capacity. Obviously, we can't delve into a deep dive in this news roundup show, but tell us below if you'd like us to do one. We're heading to the USA next, where the US federal government has officially launched a new program to spend $148 million on repairing existing EV charging infrastructure. The program has awarded money to 24 different recipients across 20 US states, with California receiving the lion's share of the funding. While it's a shame to see some states didn't apply for funds, it's worth noting that this week we learned that since 2020, when President Joe Biden came into office, the EV charging network in the US has more than doubled in size, and as of the time of filming this show, EV charging stations across the US are being installed at a blistering pace, with 1,000 new charging stations, both level 2 and fast, getting commissioned every single week. With the average age of cars on the road getting older and older, Consumer Reports has just published a brand new survey focused on the reliability of cars between 5 and 10 years old. And while Lexus and Toyota sit atop the charts, Tesla languishes near the very bottom. Consumer Reports cites data from members who owned 2014 through 2019 model year cars and says that owners of 2014 and 2015 Model S cars reported requiring multiple fixes for their vehicles, including failures for the drivetrain, battery pack, and infotainment. At the same time, Consumer Reports notes that because EVs are very different to ICE vehicles, it may be that EVs, including Tesla's, which have sat higher on its reliability surveys for newer models, may remain trouble-free for a longer period before problems occur. But then, when they reach a certain age, those failures are much more dire and more common. It says it will continue to monitor the data for possible trends. Over the weekend, a fire broke out at Rivian's Normal, Illinois production facility that burned for several hours before being extinguished. But while initial reports suggested the fire was inside the facility, it's since become clear that the fire took place in the parking lot, where a fire spread between several dozen Rivian vehicles that sources suggest were either set aside for scrapping or repair. Rivian has said in a statement that it's investigating the cause of the fire, but reiterated that the production facility itself was unaffected by the blaze and that there were no reported injuries. Reports from the ground suggest that the vehicles which were destroyed were already separated from the rest of the vehicles in the lot, which helped prevent spread to production vehicles awaiting delivery. Of course, when we know more, we'll share. Hyundai held its official 2024 CEO Investor Day this week, at which the firm laid out its plans for the next year for both Hyundai and Genesis brand vehicles. And despite having quite the competitive edge in the marketplace thanks to the jointly owned eGMP platform developed with sister brand Kia, Hyundai confirmed that it's also working to introduce new hybrid and range-extended EV vehicles in the coming years, with North America and China due to get a new range-extended EV model in the very near future. At the same time, however, it's not all bad news for EVs. Hyundai confirmed a 7-seat, 3-row Ioniq 9 SUV is coming to market very soon and reiterated its commitment to a target of selling 2 million electric vehicles per year globally by 2030. That target, set last year, was increased from Hyundai's original 1.87 million vehicle target. As Europe introduces tariffs on Chinese-made EVs designed to try and even the playing field in its marketplace, Chinese automakers are starting to execute strategies to avoid said tariffs. We've already seen BYD and many other brands explore the possibility of establishing European and North American production facilities, and this week XPeng and MG appeared to make their own contingency plans to avoid those tariffs. As reported midweek by Bloomberg, XPeng is already in the initial phase of selecting a new location in the EU for a new EV production facility, with plans to quickly ramp up production of European models. MG, meanwhile, is looking to expand its Thailand production facilities in order to make European market models there rather than in China. With enough cash to make rapid changes, this just goes to show that Chinese automakers are prepared to think laterally. And finally, for this segment, Tesla's Grand Master Plan, Parts 1, 2 and 3, have formed an essential part of Tesla's company history and helped shape the brand's goals moving forwards. But this week, Tesla quietly removed Parts 1 and 2 from its website. The blog posts, along with every other blog post made before 2019, are no longer to be found on Tesla's website, and the reasons for their deletion remains a bit of a mystery. It could be just a server upgrade or perhaps a decision to streamline the company website. But some people have postulated, quite loudly that it seems a strange coincidence given that other important posts, one about self-driving and one about Tesla's approach to patents, have also vanished about the same time as Elon Musk has moved towards the political right and backed a candidate who has historically been anti-EV. Either way, though, it feels like the old Tesla is no more, and it's going to be interesting to see what lies in its future. Our short shorts are coming in a second, but first a word from the 10th annual Tesla raffle from Gazette Chicago, where if you are in a hurry, there's still a chance to win your choice of any of Tesla's currently in production passenger vehicles. That's a Tesla Model S, 3, X, Y or Cybertruck, or $50,000 in cash for those who'd rather spend their prize funds on a different vehicle or perhaps something else entirely. Gazette Chicago is a non-profit that focuses on empowering individuals and families in need towards self-sufficiency, utilising a wide range of different services ranging from free food, furniture and clothing to assistance navigating government programs and finding new employment, among many more services. For your chance to win the Tesla of your choice or the money, head to ccraffle.com where you can use the code TRANSPORTEVOLVE to get $25 off 2 tickets or $500 off 15 tickets. There are only 9,999 tickets available. When they are sold, they're sold, and they have sold out in past years. So given that the draw is taking place in just over a week's time, you need to buy those tickets today if you want to take part. And now it's time for Short Shorts. We're starting as usual with a few recall alerts, and today our first is from Livewire. It's recalled certain Livewire S2 Del Mar and S2 Mulholland models to address a potential problem with a degrading high-voltage traction fuse that could fail, requiring replacement. BMW is recalling certain 2024 model year i4 models to address a fault with the left side longitudinal beam on affected cars. BMW says it will inspect and replace the component as necessary, and owners should hear from BMW by October 7th. Mini is recalling certain 2020 through 2024 Mini hardtop two-door Cooper SE EVs after it discovered a problem with affected cars' battery packs. In some cases, a fault can occur that can lead to a short circuit within the battery pack, which is bad. And finally, for the recalls, Audi has officially recalled some 2019 e-Tron models after noticing that the fastener that connects the brake pedal to the brake booster may have been improperly installed, leading to increased risk of brake malfunctions. GM announced on Thursday this week that it's killing its BrightDrop electric vehicle brand and rolling its BrightDrop delivery vehicles into the Chevrolet nameplate. And given that Chevrolet has been making commercial vehicles for years, selling BrightDrop vans under the Chevy badge makes total sense. Elon Musk has shared images of Tesla's latest supercomputer being built at its Austin Gigafactory called Cortex. It will be what Tesla claims is the world's most powerful AI training cluster. When complete, it will house more than 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs. If you're in the US and looking for a Labor Day deal this coming weekend, Honda might have your back. It's just announced a special Labor Day lease deal for new Honda Prologue customers that knocks off up to $14,250 off MSRP. That, however, is nothing compared to the lease deals now being offered to customers in South Korea eager to get behind the wheel of a new Casper EV. Due to launch in other markets as the Insta EV, you can now lease one for less than $8 equivalent per day. New data from the US Energy and Employment Report, as published by the US Department of Energy, shows that last year, energy industry jobs grew by 250,000 positions, with 56% of those focused on clean, renewable energy projects. Nissan has published details of a new pilot program involving self-cooling paint for cars. The new paint is designed to help keep the inside of cars cool in hot weather, which reduces the need for in-car air conditioning, thus improving overall energy efficiency. Cadillac has confirmed a simplification for its Lyriq EV lineup for 2025. It's dropped the entry-level model completely for the year. However, while this means the entry-level price is a tad higher than it was last year, overall price reductions across the board means customers will get more for less. It's official. Canoo is leaving California, with plans to establish itself in Texas, just as Tesla did. The announcement was made this week as company CTO and co-founder Sohel Merchant stepped down from his position at the company. Now, 2 out of the 3 company co-founders have left. The Ariel Atom's off-road sibling, the Ariel Nomad, has turned into an all-electric concept that hints at a future all-electric off-road capable production model. Called the e-Nomad, it features 210 kilowatts at the wheels and a weight of just 896 kilos. That's just under 2,000 pounds. If you know, you know. Smart has just debuted its latest vehicle in the form of the Smart No. 5, a car that Smart says is its first ever premium mid-size SUV. In keeping with the rest of Smart's lineup, this isn't the Smart car of last century, and we've been given scan specs to go on. Tesla has confirmed that it's ramping up its NACS adapter production to 8,000 units per week, something that will be great news for Ford and Rivian customers who are still waiting for their complimentary CCS to NACS adapter for supercharger access. Australian company EPCA has announced that, following the success of its first conversions of mining trucks to all-electric, it plans to convert between 50 and 70 100 metric ton battery electric mining trucks every year. The Boring Company tunnels in Las Vegas that form the Las Vegas Convention Center Loop may finally get some form of autonomy in the near future. While the original goal was to have fully autonomous vehicles driving the loop, Teslas piloted by humans are still in use. But those who are responsible for the tunnel say the goal is to have some form of autonomy by year's end. Nissan has given an official blessing to a more powerful version of Fermata Energy's vehicle-to-everything bidirectional charging station. Fermata Energy's new FE20 is capable of pulling up to 20 kilowatts from a Nissan LEAF's CHAdeMO port, converting it to mains AC. Stellantis has announced its intent to halt plans to convert one of its Illinois production facilities to electric vehicle production. Part of a deal struck with the UAW last year, there's now suggestions that Stellantis could be hit by industrial action for reneging on its promises. UK charging network InstaVolt is introducing a new off-peak charging model for customers who use its rapid charging network during off-peak periods. Like off-peak electricity at home, it will cost less to fast-charge your car at night when electricity demand is lower. Chinese automaker Neta has debuted its first all-electric model to be built on a new jointly developed platform with battery specialist CATL. The Neta S shooting brake features a new 800-volt chassis architecture that incorporates battery packs, motors, and power electronics. Uber, in collaboration with Cruise, is bringing Cruise robotaxis to the Uber app. Starting next year, a dedicated number of Chevrolet Bolt autonomous robotaxis in select markets will be included in its system, and customers will be given the option to pick a robotaxi instead of a regular Uber. Citing a change in safety regulations in Europe, Renault has officially ended sales of its Renault Twingo Electric in some European markets. German, Austrian and Swiss customers will no longer be able to order the pint-sized EV. A new variant is expected in 2026. Tesla has won an appeals court case against the Louisiana Motor Vehicle Commission, which it had previously taken to court for colluding with the Louisiana Automobile Dealers Association to prevent it from obtaining a dealer license. The case must now go back to the district court, which dismissed it last year. BYD has just posted its second quarter figures, showing a record surge in sales. Overall, its growth in new energy vehicles was up 57% in Q2 compared to Q1, but thanks to ongoing price wars, its margins did slip 3% from Q1, despite record profit. Mercedes-Benz has opened the order books in the UK for its all-electric G-Class G580, an off-road vehicle that will start at an eye-watering £180,860 sterling, making it one of the more expensive off-road EVs that you can buy. XPeng is readying the launch of its newest electric vehicle model, the Mona M03, for a special event in Beijing. Targeted squarely at the same market segment as the Tesla Model 3, it's full of tech, offers a range of battery pack options, and has a starting price of less than $17,000 equivalent. Samsung SDI and General Motors have announced a finalization of their joint battery venture in the US with a combined investment of $3.5 billion. It's due to start producing up to 36 gigawatt-hours of battery cells per year for GM vehicles from 2027. Canada has announced its own import duty tariffs on Chinese-made vehicles entering into the country from October 1st. All hybrids, plug-in hybrids and EVs made and imported from China to Canada will be impacted by a 100% tariff, with no exceptions. A new spin-off from the University of Graz in Switzerland is working on a new compact recycling system for lithium-ion batteries for EVs. The goal of the company is to reduce the footprint of lithium-ion battery recycling, thus making it easier and more cost-effective. New data from the US shows that on-site solar array installation at schools across the country has more than quadrupled in the last 10 years. As the cost of energy increases and more districts switch to electric buses, establishing on-site solar generation is a no-brainer. Porsche has announced new discounts on 2024 Porsche Taycan EVs in the US, with up to $22,500 off list price for lease customers. However, Porsche's deal requires individual auto dealers agree to send the savings to customers rather than pocket them. Reporting from Autocar in India suggests that the all-electric Suzuki EVX, which we saw last year as a concept car, will be entering into production next year, with launch markets expected to include Europe and Japan. There's no news if it's coming to North America. The battery lifecycle company in Europe has opened a new facility that will be home to the world's first fully automated deep discharging apparatus. By deep discharging batteries before disassembly and recycling, it improves safety for everyone at the facility. Reports from Germany suggest that Volkswagen is looking to finally expand its EV production facilities in Emden. After a tough couple of months, Volkswagen now wants to increase its facility capacity for next year to 190,000 EVs. Talking with Motor One earlier this month, Dodge's new CEO stated that the upcoming Charger Daytona RT and Charger Daytona Scat Pack were faster, better muscle cars when compared to internal gasoline models that they replace. But he admitted that the brand has some work ahead to convince hardened fans that it's true. I look forward to seeing how that happens. If you're in the US and you're looking for a discount on a brand new charging station, look no further than the recently liquidated Fisker, which is carrying out a bit of a fire sale on Fisker-branded Wallbox Pulsar Plus EV charging stations. They're now selling for just $250. Renault has quietly announced it will no longer sell any passenger cars in Aotearoa, New Zealand, effective immediately. This means none of Renault's existing or upcoming EVs will be available to Kiwi buyers and seems driven by anti-EV policy from the Kiwi government. And finally for the segment, armoured car specialist US Armour Group, which regularly makes armoured cars for the US government and military, has announced an armoured version of the Lucid Air Sapphire for those who require their bulletproof car to be something other than a Tesla Cybertruck. The starting price? A Nissan LEAF short of $500,000. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first, a quick word from our longtime video sponsor, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local, verified solar installers across the US, and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join the community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us out too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and help us. It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for those last two stories. In order to get hardened petrolheads and gear jammers into the EV world, some automakers have leaned heavily into fake engine noises and faux digital shifters to replace the feel of gas cars. But while Porsche is one of the many automakers to pipe in fake quasi-sci-fi inspired noises into the cabin if the driver so wishes, it has confirmed this week that it's not interested in adding any kind of faux gear shifting shenanigans to its vehicles. Talking to journalists in Australia this week, Porsche development driver Lars Kern said that having tested the faux gear shifting of the EGMP-based vehicles like the Ioniq 5N, the brand believes there's, quote, no reason to simulate what has been in the past, end quote. Given that Porsche EVs are hands down some of the best driving EVs on the market today, where high-tech insides don't get in the way of driving pleasure, I am sure many fans will be pleased to hear Porsche saying no to this particular option. And finally, the way post is delivered around the world varies a massive amount from country to country, with some places relying on Shank's Pony, some on vans and cars, and in some parts of the world still on horseback. But Australia Post has just announced a new partnership with Kiwi Firm Ubico to replace some of the 5,000 Honda CT1110 motorcycles on its fleet with all-electric Ubico 2x2s, modified to meet the needs of the Australian Post. There's a new larger rear-wheel motor, a 6.2 kilowatt kilowatt-hour battery pack, and this allows Australia Post to electrify both urban routes and more remote rural routes in small towns that were traditionally challenging for three-wheel electric delivery vehicles to meet. So if you're in Australia, keep your eyes peeled for an electric mail delivery very soon. And on that note, we are done with today's show. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to the 10th annual Chesed Chicago Tesla raffle. Follow the link on screen and use Transport Evolved at checkout to get your discounted tickets today. And hurry, time's running out. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the links below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping make the step towards energy self-sufficiency through solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And if you are someone who made your own transportation or energy greener this year, congratulations. If you'd like to support the channel directly, please consider supporting us from $1 a month on Patreon, which is about $10.08 a year. We are viewer supported because we believe the information we produce should be free to everyone. So if you support, thank you. And you make this possible. Also, don't forget to check out our swag store. Although it's probably too late to get our Canadian EV owning moose for everything electric, don't worry because Mackenzie's going nowhere. You can still buy him, and you should, because he's cute. Talking of which, if you'd like to come to Everything Electric Canada 2024 in Vancouver next week, there is still time. Use the link on screen to buy your tickets and add the discount code TransportEvolved at checkout to get 20% off your tickets. We will also get 100% of all tickets sold using that code, so you'll help fund our own attendance. See you there. We're going to be back next week as usual with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. To finish, remember that you are valid and loved. You have a place in this world, and regardless of what rich idiots, religious zealots, large companies and greedy politicians say. Know that your existence is resistance, and that resistance, if you are able, can be bolstered by making sure that you're registered to vote this year if you are in the US. It is part of the democratic process to have your say, regardless of whom you vote for. Thank you for putting up with me being slightly tired today. I had my COVID vaccine. Make sure you get one. But in the meantime, stay safe regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally. Be kind. And please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.